Voting in the primaries for the Democratic, Republican, and Libertarian parties are tomorrow at your respective polling location. Waverly newspapers sat down with Bremer County Auditor Shelley to discuss recent changes and what to be prepared for when voting. It's important to understand the changes under the new Iowa voter ID law.
Things out and what do you need to see, so we're not seeing a lot and we haven't gotten pushback as expected. I'm sure there's some people that are really frustrated and don't like the law, and once in a while we get a comment that they don't like the law, but they still get it out and they give it to us. So that's the biggest change is just now that they actually have to. And because of that law being put in place, we also went ahead and bought barcode scanners so that when people come into the polling place and they pull out their voter ID or their Iowa driver's license or non-operators, they can walk up and just scan it. In January 1st of 2019, it's a hard yes, you have to show it. This year, if they don't want to show it, they don't have to, but they'll still have to sign an oath.
Voting in the primaries is different than voting in general election, and Shelley discussed this.
The June 5th primary and the primary election every other year is a nomination process. It's the nomination, it's the parties get together and nominate who do they want on the November ballot to run against the other party. So this is actually 3 elections going on. The Republicans have an election, the Democrats have an election, and the Libertarian Party qualified in 2016 to be a recognized party. So we actually have 3 elections going on tomorrow, and it's the party nominating their candidates for the November ballot. So you do have to declare a party in order to get a ballot.
Wolf also described how candidates have to have 35% of the votes in order to be nominated.
There's a lot of talk right now about the Republican ballot in Bremer County really only has the Secretary of Agriculture, and there's 5 running. So if none of those get that 35%, it'll go to convention in August, which I think there's an expectation that it's very highly likely that it'll go to convention in August to actually decide finally who's going to go on the ballot. It might not be decided tomorrow who's going to be on November's ballot for that seat. So they do have to meet a threshold.
Wolf has seen a lot of changes in voting since she began her journey to state auditor in 2002.
Something changes every year. There have been a lot of changes. More changes probably between my time here between 2002 and 2010 when I wasn't auditor yet, because we got election day registration came into play. We got where we moved, we didn't count ballots here anymore at the courthouse at the end of the day. All of the ballots are counted out at the polling places now. The touch screens came and they went, they left again. But since 2010, it's more the little things and just trying to keep the elections clean and little changes in the internal workings. A lot of work is put on our poll workers out at the polling places on election days, during the day and at the end of the day when they're actually declaring their results at each polling place. So there's a lot of work put on those, a lot of responsibility. That's been probably one of the biggest changes. We just gave out awards. Was that just last year? Time gets away. Maybe it was in 2016. The Secretary of State was collecting data on the longest serving, and we gave an award to Martin Hearing and Levina Hoynes. Levina will be at City Hall in Ward 1, I think. We have 2 wards in City Hall now. She was one of the longest serving poll workers, election workers, and then Martin Hearing too, and he's not helping anymore. But he's still out there running around.
Early voting begins 29 days before the election, and Wolf spoke about the number of absentee ballots collected up to this point.
As of the end of the day on Saturday, we had 250 absentees. Yeah, 250. So typically this isn't a high turnout election, so that's not very many for us. An absentee ballot is a ballot that's voted before election day. So 29 days before election day, we can start either through the mail or in office here in the office, and healthcare facilities. We take ballots out there too for anybody who wants to vote. So an absentee ballot is early voting. It has a lot of different names.
Wolf gave some final quick pointers about what to do for voting tomorrow.
Run tomorrow.
7 a.m. to 9 p.m. If they're already registered and they haven't moved, everything's current. That what we have for them is current, just an ID, which is your driver's license or a non-operator's DOT. And if you don't have either of those, the Secretary of State's office should have emailed them a little paper voter ID card. So they do need that. If they have moved or done anything different, any change of name, change of address, they'll want to be sure that they have something that proves their identification and proves where they live.
To find your polling location, go to the Iowa Secretary of State website. From Waverly Newspapers, I'm Darcy Bertolino reporting.